live here with my husband Tim and my 2 children, Ramona and Juno. We have been off-grid for 4 years now in different ways. So we've been here on this land in this yurt for 2 and a bit, but before that we were living on somebody else's land, also in a yurt and also off-grid. So today I thought I'd share with you 10 of the things I wish we'd known before we'd gone off-grid. There's an amazing video by a beautiful YouTube channel who are all about off-grid living. They're called Vouch Family Off-Grid, and their video is super cool and I definitely suggest you check it out. But actually my list of things that I wish we'd known is kind of a little bit different, and in some cases sort of the opposite. So number 1, we are pretty surprised that some people don't come and visit us because they don't like our compost loo. We love our compost loo. We don't find that it smells, that it's messy. We think it's a really super cool way of getting rid of your waste and then putting it back into your land. We tend to use our compost from our toilet after a year or so as the kind of mulch beneath a new tree. And I think that both of our bathrooms, because we've got a bathroom on our big yurt and a bathroom on our little yurt, I think they're both actually totally beautiful. We have heard from a couple of people in a roundabout way that they don't like coming to our place because they find it really difficult to use a loo. Now there are flushable loos out there, flushable compost loos, which you can get your hands on, but at the moment that is quite out of our sort of price range, and we don't know how true it is either. We don't know if it's just kind of hearsay that people have told us that. We actually feel like doing a poll, sending it around to our friends and family, asking them if they would come and visit us more if we had a flushable compost loo as opposed to a sawdust bucket loo, which we have at the moment. I don't know if people would really enjoy filling out a poll of that nature. Okay, number 2, some things you think they're going to be awesome and actually they don't work for you at that time or in that moment. So over the last couple of years living on our own land with another family, we have tried a few different things and we've thought it's going to be absolutely awesome, and it hasn't been awesome at all. So like we had goats for a while, you might remember George and Mildred, but actually it was really tricky finding them a place where they could do their job, which was to get rid of all the invasive weeds. Without them eating our fruit trees and vegetables, because goats eat anything. They will even eat your t-shirt. This is a super special t-shirt, which you can actually buy from my Etsy shop, link below. But if they could eat this shirt, they would actually eat this shirt because goats eat everything. So you either need to keep them chained, which I didn't really feel comfortable with at all. That is not our vibe here, chaining up creatures. Or you need to have a really secure place for them, and it was just kind of tricky managing goats. And ducks, we thought we were going to have ducks, and they're so beautiful to look at and they're so gorgeous as they quack around the farm, and I love them, but we didn't like eating them. So we kind of drew a line under the whole duck thing. And same with a milking cow. We do have a milking cow, but it's been really quite tricky to get into a routine with milking her. So we have decided that for just now, in this moment in time, we're actually not going to milk our cow. We might do that when everything is a little bit more settled, but we're not going to do it right now. And all of those things have been a bit of a surprise. We've been like, yeah, let's embrace goats and ducks, and it's always, you kind of feel a little bit like a failure when you can't make something work. I think part of the spirit of doing off-grid is being ready to give things a go, give them a real good whack, but then being able to be kind to yourself and say, it's not actually really working for us, and then just kind of draw a line under it. Number 3, solar. We're on solar power, so all of our electricity comes from the sun. We love being on solar. It's really cool having the sense of this precious resource given to us by the earth and then using it wisely. But we have done so much research on solar and still have made a few kind of dodgy decisions that have meant we've had to, in the last 4 years, change our system twice, and actually we still need to change it again because in the winter we don't have enough solar to fuel our fridge. So if you've got bags of money, you can just go all out at the start, get an amazing solar system that will last you for 10, 15 years. No one we know has been able to do that because we're all kind of on the bones of our bum a little bit, to be honest. We just don't have the 25 grand that you need to drop on a solar system to make it last that long. So instead we've kind of got a little bit of a system, then added to it and used secondhand batteries, and then they've kind of failed, and then we've had to change our batteries. Nearly everyone we know has had to do this, kind of do a little bit of a mishmash kind of solar system to get what they need in the budget that they've got. So unless you've got bags of money, in which case, awesome, get a wicked solar system straight up. Be prepared to just kind of muddle through it for the first few years until you land on the perfect system for you. That is kind of terrible advice, but it's just really honest advice. Solar costs heaps. You possibly will get it wrong for your first little while, and then you'll get the hang of how much solar you need and what kind of system will fit you and your life. Growing your own food takes a special kind of person, and I don't know if you're that person. I really don't know if I'm that person. So we have had probably the best summer yet with our garden. It's been really abundant and really awesome. And then we've had like some massive fails. So like we put in 25 beetroot plants, and after 2 months, they're this big. And it's like, growing heaps and heaps of food just takes so much patience and diligence. And you kind of really can't do loads else. It kind of has to be your number one priority in life. And actually, growing our own food isn't our number one priority. We've got kind of other dreams that we want to prioritize as well. So we've kind of concluded that we're not going to be growing. So we've kind of concluded. So we've basically concluded that we're never going to be 100%. 100% self-sufficient when it comes to veggies, because there's lots of other things we want to do with our life. I've got lots of ambitions for resourcing parents to be respectful, peaceful parents. We've got dreams of more travel and all that kind of thing. So at the moment, we're really happy to just grow what we can in our garden, but we're actually not going to go completely all out with the best, most epic garden, which has been like a little bit of a sad realization. When we first moved to New Zealand and we were living on another farm, we had a huge bunch of us. It was like a community farm, and I didn't do that much. I had like a little baby. Juno was only about 9 months, but the whole farm kind of worked on the gardens, and we were very largely self-sufficient. But doing your own garden, it is a major mission. So number 5, over the last couple of winters, we have realized how much firewood is like one of the most crucial things you need to be off grid. So over the last 2 winters, our firewood has not really been up to scratch. It's been a little bit wet. We haven't had quite enough of it, and it's meant that our yurt has been quite a little bit smoky. It hasn't been as hot and dry as it needed to be. And so I would say if you're heading into winter and you're brand new off grid, really make firewood your priority. We have done that over the last couple of months. We've got stacks of firewood now, and we're really hoping that it's going to get us through the winter in a much drier way. Number 6, kind of related. If you're thinking about going off grid and you're looking at land and you're wondering what to make a priority, I would say a huge priority for you should be water. It was on our list of things that we wanted from our land, but we looked for land for like over a year and we didn't find anything that we thought was the perfect bit of land for us. So we had a list of things that we wanted, like close to water, having a spring on it, lots of native forest. So we had this list, and by the end of a year of looking, we were kind of like striking things off that list. Like, man, we're dreaming if we think we're going to get a place with a spring on it for the kind of money that we've got. Fortunately, we found this place that had been on the market for like 8 years. No one wanted it, and we walked onto it and it was like, ah! We just knew that it was the place for us. And it had heaps of springs in the hills. So that meant that within like 2 days, we could tap the spring and have running water to us. You know, the climate is changing. Things are getting less predictable. Summers are getting hotter, and it is so, so good knowing that we have got access to this water that can, you know, help us grow our veggies and keep us watered and clean. A little bit clean, not that clean. Hardly clean at all, actually. Okay, number 7, we are surprised how much we are affected by the seasons living off-grid. I think when you're living in a city or even in suburbia or whatever, you've got a lot of things that kind of protect you from the seasons and protect you from the elements. So I know that a lot of people do get affected by the weather, but you can kind of avoid the extreme heats and the extreme wet weather or whatever by, you know, going from building to building and shelter to shelter. Being off-grid, you really can't avoid it. When it's been raining for like 50 days, it actually does get in your brain and you actually think, you can't do this anymore. Everything is wet. We can't get anything dry. So when it's been raining heaps and heaps, we obviously don't have any solar power, so our mountain of laundry just goes, it like takes the mick, seriously. It'll be like the size of this yurt, basically. So things like that actually do make you feel really, really depressed. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, really, and often we can pin it to sort of the seasons. And that has definitely come as a surprise. So if you've already got something like seasonal, is it seasonal affective disorder or something like that, I would say think twice about going off-grid, because it will be triple whammied for you. A little bit on that note, if you do find yourself on a bit of an emotional roller coaster or dealing with sort of anxiety or depression, I highly recommend a totally free resource that you can find online. It's the Channel Mum support forums. They have like an in-house psychologist who is lovely and really onto it, and you can stop on there, you can pose a question, you can even pose it anonymously or get a little bit of advice or support for your very specific situation. So there's a link to that in the description, and if that is something, if you feel like you need more people around you just keeping you strong, helping you to be compassionate to yourself, I really do suggest heading off to that link below. Okay, number 8, the wild comes in. In fact, the first half of this video, I'm really sorry if there are just flies buzzing all over the place. But because we had like 3 days of rain followed by 2 days of sun, this is optimal fly weather, and they come like that. It's like a plague of houseflies. They don't bite or anything, they just buzz around when you're trying to do a YouTube video, and they just like, ah! And there's nothing I can do about them because I'm not exactly going to spray toxics. I mean, I know that a lot of people would do that, but I'm not into that. So the whole first half of this video, there's probably flies buzzing on a mic, buzzing around my face, and I'm really sorry about that. I think I have fixed it with the second half of this video. What I have done is I have covered myself, and I have covered the microphone and the camera with Tiger Balm. You know, that really strong, pungent smelling stuff, and I think you can probably see my eyes are watering because I'm literally covered in it. To stop the flies coming near me, and it has totally worked. I don't think on the second half of this video, I don't think they have landed on a mic or on me once. So there you go. If you're trying to film a YouTube video in your yurt and there are flies buzzing around making you feel like you're going doolally, consider covering yourself in Tiger Balm. But it does sort of exemplify, and that is that off-grid, in a usual off-grid situation, you're going to be surrounded by forests, surrounded by farm, and there's not a whole lot you can do to stop the wild coming in. So sometimes that would be really lovely. I can remember one of my first nights ever in a yurt, I woke up and I had a praying mantis on my face, praying. And it was a bit of a shock, but it was also kind of a little bit lovely. I was like, oh, hello. But that is probably the best story I've got. There's no other stories that are nice in the slightest. Like, we don't see much evidence of rats and mice, and the second we do, we actually poison them because they can just get away from us. But like, a pair of my clogs got eaten by a rat. My beautiful felt hat got eaten by a rat, and also even my yoga mat was eaten by a rat last winter. What the heck? So if you're not into insects and rodents and general wildlife, it's not the life for you. I've got used to it, to be honest, so it's not like a hugely dramatic, I wish I'd known, but it's just like a little thing that probably makes it slightly gross for people who aren't used to off-grid living. Going going off-grid makes you even more skeptical of traditional mainstream living. Honestly, when we go into town, we just look at big billboards with just this sense of what the heck. We'll like catch a glimpse of a TV show and we'll just be like, what are they on? It's like the frenzy of consumerism just makes us go, I don't get it at all. It feels sometimes like we're living on another planet. Even walking down the street and like smelling everyone's perfume and deodorant and cleaning products all over their bodies gives us like a headache, and we just think, why are people shoving all this poisonous fragrance all over themselves? That's kind of like a weird example, but it's true. Like, living this life so connected to nature and basically pretty simple. Yeah, I think it makes it even harder for us to like engage with like normal city living. It just makes us go, what are these people being sold by corporations? Want to be like, wake up, there's more to life than buying things and having the newest car and the flashiest house and the interior designed bathroom. None of these things will make you happy. And on that note, that leads me really well to number 10. Because you know what? The thing I wish I'd known about off-grid living, and the thing I tell everyone, is that off-grid living won't make you happy either. Off-grid living will not fix you. There's an amazing book by somebody, an author, and it's actually called Wherever You Go, There You Are. Because that is the truth, that wherever you go, if you're in a city, if you're in suburbia, if you're living in a yurt, it's still you. It's you with your brain and you with your foibles and your flaws. And definitely it's amazing being closer to nature. It's amazing living a simple life. All of these things can add to your happiness, but you still have to work really hard at being content and mindful. You still have to wake up every morning and choose intentionally how you are going to interact with the world that day. You still have a decision to make in every moment when you could react irritably or grumpily. You still have a choice in that moment, and you have to choose to go with your heart and to choose love and compassion in that moment rather than frustration and an outburst. We love off-grid living. Heaps of it does make us happy, but we still do have to, in every single moment of every day, choose happiness and mindfulness over the alternatives. It doesn't naturally happen just because we've gone off-grid. And I kind of wish I knew that, because I would have started working harder at being intentional before you went off-grid, I imagine. I think it's probably about time that I did another big Q&A. So I'm going to do a Q&A all about off-grid living, all about the yurts and stuff like that. So don't ask me parenting stuff in this one. I'll do a whole other parenting Q&A later. So I'm going to do it in a couple of weeks, but definitely ask your question below what you would like to know about our life. If anything was unclear in this video, you can ask for clarification and I'll answer it in a ginormous Q&A. Don't forget, you can buy your Earth Lover, Stay Radical, Hippie, 100% organic shirts at my Etsy shop. The link is below. And I'd love you to come on board as a Patreon. Just this week I recorded an amazing live stream with Robin Grill, author of Parenting for a Peaceful World. He did an event and Patreons got to join in, and you can watch that video. It's absolutely amazing on my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Lulastic, link below. Thank you so much for watching and for subscribing, and wherever you are in the world, much love and keep radical.